In Volume 16 of Berserk, we end the Lost Children chapter and begin the Binding Chain chapter. I believe that's what it's called, Binding Chain chapter of the Conviction arc. Uh, I was a little upset that Rosine, the Elf Queen, fled and got away. I'm going to assume that she probably died at some point. I think she went to the hill that apparently Red-Eyed Peacock went to and cried his eyes, even more red than they usually are. But I guess it speaks volumes for Guts' character that he didn't kill her, um, because she was already damaged enough and probably realized she'll die on her own. And we even see Guts question himself in this volume, asking if he is that soft that he blew 3 chances to take Rosine out, the Elf Queen out, in the previous volume and somewhat in this volume. He had 3 opportunities to kill her, and he missed all 3. And he questioned if he was that soft that, is it her appearance that is causing him to, make these blunders, or is it the story that Jill told him about, Jill and Rosine's relationship and why Rosine went off into the Misty Valley to go find the elves. So I found it interesting that Guts started to question himself, and it brings some humanity to him. A lot of people look at Guts as like he's like this monster. He's just a black swordsman. He's just out for revenge. But he still has humanity deep down inside of him, and he still has a conscience because he did stop himself 3 different times from taking her out. So I do like that about the character. This dude goes through such a struggle. He's gone through so much, and he's slowly becoming more and more like a monster, but he still has that shred of humanity to him. And what was crazy was, after this whole battle, as he fled, which, the Holy Iron Chain Knights showed up and kind of made him flee, as he's going through the darkness, the dead is mocking him. The dead are basically telling him, you will slowly become a monster in a man's form. You will become the beast of darkness. You will slowly be engulfed by the darkness. They're mocking him. They're saying, how many kids did you kill? How many children did you kill in your revenge, in the process? Is it okay to kill because they were demons? They didn't choose to become demons. They're mocking him. They're making fun of him. They're basically just playing on his weakness right now. And he kind of, he gets pissed. He tells him to leave, whatever. And finally, we get some kind of relationship between Puck and Guts where, Guts isn't just calling him an insect and whatnot. Puck actually leaves Jill behind. Jill is going to fight her little own tiny battle in the village that she lives in. She wanted to go with Guts, and Guts like, this is no place for you. There is no paradise for you. The world is a dark place. The world is a cruel place. You don't want to come with me. If you come with me, you're gonna be in a lot of danger, basically, because he goes, look around. This is my world, as the dead came out from the shadows. So she basically made a resolution to herself to go back to her village and, fight, cry, bite tooth and nail to survive and, live in this village, And it was pretty cool because Puck gave her some gifts, some elf dust, and those little stinger things, and said, use this on your father whenever, you have to. So I like Jill as a character. I really do. We've seen her sort of go through a transformation throughout this Lost Children arc. She was a weak little child when we first seen her, and now she realizes that, she has to fight to survive. She has to fight for herself and stand up for herself. And I feel like Guts is the one that gave her this motivation and this resolve. But back to Puck and Guts. Puck goes to Guts and basically says, if it wasn't for me, you would be dead by now. And Guts realizes, Puck has some medicinal value. And I laughed out loud when I seen him say that. I was like, or thought that. I was like, that's hilarious because it's so true. That's what I was thinking the entire time since we've seen Puck heal him so many times. So Guts, for the first time, calls Puck by his real name, and Puck was kind of surprised. And I did enjoy that. Like I said before, I didn't really like Puck's comedy. I didn't really like the fact that, he brings this lightheartedness to this very dark and gritty story. But it's starting to grow on me, and I'm starting to enjoy Puck's character and comedy a little bit more. I'm still not completely used to it, but it's growing on me for sure. And I like that Guts is finally calling Puck by his name and actually accepting him as an ally and accepting him you know, as a valuable asset to his, you know, plot, his revenge. So that was very enjoyable to see that we finally got, you know, some kind of progress with their relationship. Uh, Farnese, I do not like that character at all. I feel she's weak. I feel she has no place being the commander of the Holy Iron Chain Knights. Apparently, when they confront Guts and Guts goes after her because he realizes I have to capture the head if I'm going to get out of this. And she kind of accidentally stabs Guts on the shoulder, and there's blood on her sword. The Vice Commander Azan was like, was that the first time you drew blood? She's never drawn blood before. She's never been in battle. So she has no right to be the commander of the Holy Iron Chain Knights. And we find out from Serpico that a lot of almost every single one of the troops in the Holy Iron Chain Knights have never seen battle. They're basically heirs to nobles who the nobles put their heirs in here because they didn't want to see them have conflict, you know, see conflict. Basically, they're safeguarding their heirs. And that's what the Holy Iron Chain Knights is. And I'm going to assume that Farnese is the same. She probably comes from a huge noble family, and they use their power to get her the position she has, because she has no right having a position as a commander of these knights if she's never seen battle herself. If anybody should have that position, it's Azan, because he's the vice commander. He should be the commander. We learned that he was a knight at one point, that he had an old name called Azan the Bridge Knight or whatever, and he held off a bunch of troops on a bridge because there was a wounded old man on that bridge. And Guts tells that story. So if anybody should have that spot, it's Azan, because he is a true knight and he has seen battle. Farnese has not. And then when they finally capture Guts and they bring him to this tent, and she tells, you know, everybody to leave, and she has, you know, Guts posted up on the wall in like the guillotine thing, cannon gone, basically vulnerable. She tries to question him and ask him questions and starts beating him with this whip. And I'm thinking to myself, you're supposed to be you're supposed to be like holy. You're supposed to be good. Is this how you go about interrogating a prisoner? I guess she can try to justify it that they think this dude is the Hawk of Darkness, which we all know Griffith is the Hawk of Darkness. And she thinks that Guts is evil and he's the one that's responsible for killing innocent people, even though he's been killing demons the entire time. So I guess she can justify, you know, using some harsh treatment against him. But I don't like her character at all. Guts basically scoffs at her and laughs at her and mocks her and says, you know, you're as hollow as the idol that you worship. Have you ever seen a god? Have you ever seen a demon? Basically saying, like, bitch, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Everything you say that you believe is true, you worship, is complete garbage before the eyes of my eyes. What I've seen, basically. This dude has seen real gods, if you want to call the god hands real gods. They're just demons in disguise, in my opinion. And he's seen demons, and he's seen the dark creatures of the night. Where Farnese has never seen any of that. All she's seen was the aftermath of what Guts has gone through. So Guts just laughs in her face and basically says, you know, you're as hollow as your idol. And I really did like that scene, and it made me not like this character even more. You know, Farnese is just, to me, almost like a spoiled little brat who's delusioned by her beliefs. And I do not like the character one bit so far. Maybe that will change, but I really cannot see it changing. Azan is probably my favorite character in the Holy Iron Chain Knights, simply because this dude has actually seen battle and he knows his place in the world, where this chick is just completely lost. She doesn't know what she's talking about, and like I said, she's delusioned by her beliefs. So I don't like Farnese at all. And the ending of the volume has Guts in a cage, wounded in the bitter cold, and he's like, why would she put me? This is enough to kill a man. Like, so we know that this girl, she's not what she seems. Like, I don't like her at all. But he sees a little demon, a little like creature of the darkness sitting there, and he goes, this isn't good. So obviously the sun's gonna set, the moon's gonna rise, and his brand of sacrifice is going to bring demons and ghosts and evil spirits to the campsite of the Holy Iron Chain Knights. And I'm going to assume that finally, Farnese and her followers, her group of heirs and noblemen that are complete virgins to the battlefield, are going to see exactly what Guts has been going through all along. And I really hope this opens Farnese's eyes. I really, really do hope that she finally realizes that, yo, maybe this dude is right about me. You know, I don't know what I'm talking about. You know, Guts has seen it all. Like, he just laughed at her, and I thought that was hilarious. The battle between Azon and Guts was pretty interesting as well. Guts going through all this bullshit against the Elf Queen, and now he has to fight these Holy Iron Chain Knights and then Azon on top of it. Just crazy. I really like that Guts uses his head as well. He's just not all rageful and, you know, all about strength and brute tactics. He used his head in the battle against the Elf Queen by causing the fire to happen, which would blow away the Elf Queen's dust that would immobilize him, and also using the cocoons to slow down her speed, not allowing her to fly very fast. So I like that he does use his head. And yo, he became a beastly apostle, like twice the size of Guts, 3 times the size of Guts. So honestly, up until this point, I was like, all right, this dude's a beast. He's been killing all these apostles. But I forgot how big the count was, and I forgot how big he was until this point when we seen an actual image of how small Guts is compared to the Elf Queen in her, like, moth form. And I'm like, this dude truly is a beast. Like, he's taking out monsters that are 3 to 4 times the size of him. So it really put things into perspective for me. This battle did put things into perspective for me. So I have to say I'm really enjoying it after the Golden Age arc. Like I said, Volume 14 was a little iffy. Volume 15 picked up. But this volume right here has me very excited to see what's going to go down in the rest of the series, because now we're starting to see more world building. We're starting to get that dark fantasy feel again. Like, it's fleshing out the fantasy aspect of the series. You know, we have this group of priests and knights that, you know, are obviously completely oblivious to what's really going on, and we're about to see some dark spirits come to their campsite. So I really am enjoying it after the Golden Age arc. Let me know your thoughts on the volume, guys. Let me know your thoughts on everything I said. It's probably been a while since you guys read these chapters or read this volume. But thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Like the video. If you feel I deserve it, subscribe if you want to see more content. Share the video to get this out to as many people as possible, because it truly does help my channel grow, guys. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I look forward to reading your comments. I'll catch you in the next video.